Now to discuss the darkness of what Donald Trump is doing, Adam Serwer, staff writer at The Atlantic, whose new piece is What Americans Do Now Will Define Us Forever. Also with me, New York University professor and historian Ruth Ben-Ghiat, whose forthcoming book is Strongmen, How They Rise, Why They Succeed, and How They Fall. Based on your research and study and what you have learned, what did you see last night?
I saw a leader who's been very successful and is very pleased with himself at how well he has trained people to hatred. Besides the chant, "Send her back," a moment that impressed me, not in a good way, was when he stood back for the 13 seconds and let the chants wash over him with his signature smirk on his face. Because what he's been doing is educating people not to care, and also allowing them to feel joy in expressing hatred that's sanctioned by the state.
Adam, you said what we do now will define us forever. And the essay, which is up The Atlantic, I would recommend people read. It's really quite excellent. What do you mean by that?
Thank you, Chris. Well, from the beginning of the United States, we have been haunted by this question: is America a white man's republic, or is it a nation for all of its citizens? And throughout the last 200 some odd years, the greatest threat to American democracy has always been white nationalism, the defining of American citizenship in racial terms. It has almost destroyed the country on multiple occasions. And now President Trump has drawn a line. He has now made it clear that the citizenship of American citizens who are not white is conditional and can be revoked. And he is quite frankly, look, there's lots of disagreement between the two political parties. There are lots of issues on which we differ, but this is not a question on which there can actually be disagreement. The choice is now quite clear.
You talked about the way that he's sort of radicalizing people, and I think that's one of the things that's most disturbing here. This is polling on the question, is America too open to foreigners? And we should keep in mind that in the general public under the Trump administration has gotten more friendly towards immigrants and immigration. People have think immigration is a good thing. But among Republicans, you can see there, back in 2017, 47%, now 57%. So he is pushing people towards that extreme with his leadership.
Yeah, and this is the toll of this echo chamber that's going on. And it's not just Fox News, and it's not just Trump. All of this is coordinated. He has a very efficient propaganda machine. So the display of, the horrible display of migrants in cages and the studied indifference of Vice President Pence and Kellyanne Conway, who happened to ask a Jewish reporter, Ashley Feinberg, what is your ethnicity?
Andrew Feinberg, yeah.
Yes, sorry. It's all related and it's all coordinated. And this is his attempt to keep his base and ratchet up their indoctrination of them in the way he needs them to be. He needs to form a public that's going to approve of his racist and white nationalist agendas.
Adam, I want to play this clip of George Wallace in 1968, and at the time people were shocked by his rallies. There were people writing about how they were this kind of thrill for people in the audience, and he would sort of bait protesters who would come. Take a look at a clip, and I want to get your reaction to it.
And you know the biggest bigots in the world, they are the folks that call other folks bigots. You remember that. They are the biggest bigots in the world. Oh, you know what you are. You're a little punk. That's all you are.
I mean, the resonances there are pretty intense.
They're tremendous, but I want to point out that Wallace was never president of the United States.
Exactly.
What we saw last night was one of the most grotesque displays by an American president in the history of this country. We have not seen anything like it before. We've had racist presidents. We've had demagogues in the White House. We have never had a president who singled out a minority, a person of color, a woman, a representative of the United States Congress in this way as an object of political hatred for the masses. It is frankly astonishing.
And your point, Adam, in that essay, which I think is an important one, is because we've never had that before, in part because we have never had multiracial democracy has never been as real as it is right now. And part of what is at the point is that there is an Ilhan Omar in Congress. That that has not happened before, and the president understands that freaks out the people in his base.
In fact,
it terrifies them.
Yeah. If you look in history, which is a lot of parallels, almost every time that a right-wing government has taken over, it's been after a period of great progress for women, for people of color, for the left, meaning for workers' rights. And it's like these strong men come up and they hold their hand up and say, stop, we must turn the clock back. So there's a terrible fear of losing privilege. And they also create these like stories of gloom and the abyss, which is what Trump's been very effective doing, you know, scare tactics.
We are, I think, at a really crucial moment. And Adam, I, like you and like everyone else, I'm just worried about what this campaign looks like and for the sort of safety and integrity of the nation and its citizens. Adam Serwer, Ruth Ben-Ghiat, thank you both for being with me. Appreciate it. That is all in for this evening. The Rachel Maddow Show.